This is episode number 19 of the Silver Track Extra.
Thanks for tuning in to the Silver Track Extra, your source for the best tips, tricks, and how-tos to dominate the security industry, helping you improve your business, win more contracts, and crush your competition. Here are your hosts, Chris Anderson and Johnny Page.
What's up, Silver Track Nation? Welcome to episode number 19. I'm Johnny Page, co-host here of the Silver Track Extra, and today we're talking about how to make money on your mobile patrols. And this seems like something that would be really obvious, something that we all want to do, right? More money in your pocket. That's why we do what we do day in and day out. And today we're going to be uncovering some of the most common mistakes that we see holding patrol operators back from really taking their profits to the next level. So you won't want to miss the content that we have for you here today. But before we head into the featured conversation, let's check in with our good friends over at Paperless Proposal.
If you own a security business, I want to recommend a tool that will give you a big competitive advantage and help you win more clients. This powerful tool is Paperless Proposal Software. Paperless Proposal Software helps you create impressive business proposals in minutes, and it allows you to easily track and manage all of your proposals. Give your business a big competitive advantage by using Paperless Proposal Software. Get a free demo at www.paperlessproposal.com/silvertrack.
What's up, everybody? Here we are on the featured conversation of episode number 19, where we're going to talk about how to make money on your mobile patrols. Chris, we all want to make money, and if we're going to be in the car driving around for at least 8 hours a night, we want to make sure we're making money while we're doing it. So today we're going to talk, we go over really there's two main areas that we've identified, and we get to talk to customer after customer after customer of some of the wins and the losses that happen when you're providing the mobile patrol services. So we just want to cover a couple of the key things that we see going on frequently that you may want to avoid. So maybe some common mistakes. And then we also have two amazing resources that we love to equip you with that will help you sort of avoid some of those mistakes. So Chris, what are some of the most common, let's just call them mistakes, that some of our operators out there are making that really prevent them from making money on their patrols?
Well, number one, driving down to the Chevy or Ford dealer and buying a brand new Chevy Camaro with a $15,000 sticker on it with light bars to make the police jealous, right? I mean, it's ridiculous. Come on, you guys out there. I mean, when I started my company, I did the same thing. I drove Ford Tauruses. I had them so tricked out, they looked better than Upland Police Department. We got pulled over and ticketed all the time because our cars look better than theirs. So number one, when you're out there and you're thinking about starting a patrol, if you haven't already, think about the vehicle. Think about the cost of the vehicle and think about who's going to be driving it.
In one thing I would love to, this is a plug for a future episode. We've got one customer who has really significantly dropped their cost of the entire patrol operation by going to a leasing model rather than purchasing the vehicles. I'm not going to even attempt to go into the strategy that they are using. We'll have them on in a future episode. But yeah, the car is like just a starting place. You can't have something, first of all, you got to consider the maintenance. Just be realistic here. The goal is to make money, not to be driving out there, with your ego on four wheels.
Yeah, if you even go and look at the police departments, we had one when I was with the sheriff's department, a really nice Camaro that was all dolled up and looked great. But you know what we used that for? We used it for the school events, for the children when we drove into school. It was one car that never had a crook in it, right? And we drove there and we showcased that one vehicle and it went everywhere. So I get the idea that people want to have nice looking cars, but you got to start thinking of economy. And Johnny brought up a great point when it comes to this leasing. You're going to have employees that are not long-term employees. The turnover is tremendous. We all know that. These guys, half of them, hate to admit it, don't keep a clean uniform. So if you have a dirty uniform and you're wearing cloth material, right, it all absorbs in the material. They take their big gulp drinks, they take their hot spotlights, they can dirty a car pretty quick. And, that the value of the car, it loses tremendously, especially if they get in a car accident. What do you do with it?
Yeah, and another area that we see, or a common mistake that we see in the mobile patrol operations, is just overextending what one driver can actually accomplish in a given shift, promising too many hits, or saying yes to properties that are maybe outside of your area of expertise or outside of the route, and really just overextending your staff.
Yeah, John, I don't want the listeners to take it wrong, and I've got a lot of passion, as you can tell, and I'm not trying to beat anybody up out there. I think everybody will agree with me. This is really a tough environment because what we're really trying to do is stay competitive, right? We have a lot of people out there because of the industry, especially the apartment HOAs. They don't have a large budget, so we're forced to do patrol. And then we get the patrol accounts, and they're limited on budgets. So a lot of guys have to overpromise, right, to get the contract. And I get it, but again, it's only hurting the industry. So if you're going to do that and you're going to provide any kind of service at all, you better get yourself a tool that you can really manage or figure out what you're doing in addition to those hits. It's just
yeah, well, it's not only hurting the industry, but it's not sustainable. Like it's not growth or contracts that you can really count on long term. Like it's just destined to fail when you overextend yourself. And so there's a lot of tools out there. We've gone over them. I think it was all the way back episode number 3 or 4. We went through an hour of things to consider when you're launching a new mobile patrol. So how to, plan your routes. There's a lot of tools out there to help you plan your routes. There are great tools out there to help you plan your cost, to really plan this whole thing out. It can't just be on a whim and going out there and just closing deals, because what you're going to find is at the end of the month, either you can't deliver on what you're doing or you're not making very much money doing it. So definitely go through the due diligence of making sure that you're not overextending your staff.
Yeah. And John, let me go back in the very car. When you get yourself to a good leasing program or a real good economy car, right, the first thing you could do to really save money is make sure you get a good maintenance program set up, right? And make sure you got a good reporting tool to track, and make sure that the guys are at least putting oil in the car, right? Make sure that the car or the interior of the car doesn't have all the laptops, all the equipment that could cause an accident. Keep it clean, right? Number 2. And then number 3 is, there's some really cool apps out there that'll actually show you which gas station has a lower price. So you need to get a schedule together and a couple addresses that your guys need to go to at the end of the shift to fill up their cars. Because think about it, with your patrol route going every day, pennies count. So find a gas station. Find a gas station that you can go to that could service you if you need to, in the event you need oil or water or whatever. So these guys aren't driving to another location. And then look at the cost. Keep an eye on that. You'll save a lot. That's a quick start right there.
Yeah, those are some key areas to really make sure that you are not eating out of your profit, because you have the hard costs of like the vehicle, and we have amazing tools to make sure that you can calculate what those costs are. But anything above and beyond, like if you can save $1 at the gas pump, that's $1 more directly in your pocket. Or if you can make sure that they're spending 15 minutes at the beginning of the shift just going through a general inspection, and you can catch the early wear and tear before it becomes a blown engine or you have to replace a transmission, then that's more money directly in your pocket. And if there's one thing that's going to destroy your profit on a mobile patrol, it is a failure to pay attention to the details. And that's like the theme running throughout all this, a failure to pay attention to details when you're planning the route, when you're selecting the driver, when you're selecting the car, when you're putting in the proposal. You have to pay attention to detail. And if you just write off $1 here, $1 there, at the end of the month, you're really not going to like the result.
Yeah, and another thing to save some time, because patrol and time is money, and a lot of guys will spend an hour in the parking lot doing a good vehicle walkthrough, right, while they drink their cup of coffee at night. So to save time, if that's one of your concerns, what I would do is direct one of your supervisors at least once a week or bi-weekly, however you want to do it, and get a tool to where he can manage and do that vehicle inspection himself, all right? You're going to have your guys do their general lightweight vehicle inspections, but you could, if needed, save that time and have one supervisor go out and inspect all the vehicles once a week, and then have that tool be able to cut, or have that information available so you can get the repairs done when you need to. So there's just some other ways you can cut costs too, because I think we all know some of the guys aren't going to do the best inspections anyhow, right? So if you can stay on the car at least solidly, once a week, that's better than nothing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we actually went in a lot deeper dive on how to use Silvertrack to do those vehicle inspections. We did a full webinar on that, and we have an ebook to go along with it that just helps you put in a very simple plan for an either daily or a weekly inspection. It gives you all the issue types to list in there, kind of the schedules for doing this, some operating procedures when they're beginning the shift, when they're ending the shift, and we even go into like logging gas purchases and all that good stuff. So definitely check us out, silvertracksoftware.com. Visit the resources tab and you'll find that vehicle inspection webinar along with the ebook that we generated for that as well. So some really cool tips there on that end. Now, Chris, the other area, and we've touched on this, is just not understanding the cost that goes into putting a patrol out there. So it's really dangerous to compete on price.
Yeah, price is almost impossible, John, because you're going to have to go with the budget that the property or the community or the commercial site is set, right? They're not going to, when you walk in the door and say, hey, you know what, we believe you're going to provide a better service, let us go ahead and give you the extra $1. They're going to ask you to prove it out. They really are. So again, it goes back, and we talked about this, find a tool that will help you provide better service, more services with less time. And that's what we've done using those checkpoints and tasks. And you've created recently, I love that report you did, John, with the checkpoints. That broke down the checkpoints in detail. Our listeners can learn about more of that with another ebook or going online to view. But checkpoints are a great way to reduce that cost. So I encourage all our listeners out there to get with us and learn more about the checkpoints. We can't go into it today, of course, but there's some great value there and really huge time savings all the way around, from security, parking, or maintenance. Whatever you got to do, we got it.
Yeah, so you really have two options here. When it is so price competitive, and they could choose any one of your competitors out there to do the job, or to do it for $7 a stop, you're then, if you want to take the job, in order to milk efficiency or to milk profit out of that account, you're going to have to become efficient. So you're going to have to really make sure that there's not wasting time on site. And so using a tool like SilverTrack, it's not just limited to SilverTrack, but making sure that you're really streamlining the efficiency is how you can still remain profitable in an increasingly competitive market.
Yeah, John, they're not going to pay, trust me, the clients, and this has been my experience, they're not going to pay you on a per hit. When you're putting down on your paper, this is what we charge per hit, I get the business costs of things, but unfortunately the industry's ruined that, because the people out there that are looking at your contract are saying, you know what if you miss a hit? How do I know that you're really going to be here? So you have to find those other things that are other value, right? You have to find that other value, I guess is what I'm getting at, too, because they know you're not going to be there every time. They know things happen, right? And then, so you got to be able to back it up, whether it's just doing extra property walks or lighting inspections, to give that break or provide more time on the first hit if you can't make it on the second one. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And we go into really a lot of detail. A while ago, we did a 2-part series on analyzing your mobile patrol costs and then how to really drive efficiency in those areas. If you visit silvertracksoftware.com/19, you'll see the show notes for this episode, and we'll post some links to some of the tools that are out there that will really help you reach new levels of profitability. And really the incentive is there for you. There's more money on the table. We're just helping give you the tools to really go grab it.
Absolutely, and it goes beyond that. We'll even show you how to sell it, right, John?
Absolutely. There's so many resources available. You really can make money doing this. There's a reason why that there are so many people out there going after this, but you have to be smart about it. You can't go through, really have to pay attention to detail. We've got a lot of the tools to help you do that. Well, like I said, visit silvertracksoftware.com/19 for the show notes on this episode. Also, show our amazing sponsors some love over at Paperless Proposal. You can visit them at paperlessproposal.com/silvertrack. Again, they've got some amazing content for all you BDMs and owners who are looking to close more deals. So until next time, I'm Johnny Page.
And I'm Chris Anderson.
This was the SilverTrack Extra, and we'll talk to you soon.
This has been another episode of the SilverTrack Extra. For more insider information, visit silvertracksoftware.com/extra. Listen on the go by subscribing in iTunes. Want to hear your questions answered on the show? Visit silvertracksoftware.com/questions to submit your requests.